It was the early 1950s. Americans were scared. They feared that the freedoms they fought for would be taken from them. And they knew, an ocean away, these freedoms were already gone. Politicians using this fear got away with dirty partisan politics that would be considered morally wrong today, and used these politics to con the American people. They got away with it. That was until Edward R Murrow. Definition of McCarthyism: the practice of making accusations of subversion or treason without proper regard for evidence, or the practice of making unfair allegations or using unfair investigative techniques, especially in order to restrict dissent or political criticism. Where does this term come from? One man. Joseph McCarthy was a U.S. Senator from Wisconsin. Elected in 1946 to his seat, McCarthy, after just 3 years in the Senate, made headlines when during a speech he claimed that he had a list of over 200 members of the State Department that were known communists. After that speech, he would spend 5 hours speaking to the Senate, claiming once again that there were communists in the State Department. This time, however, only 81. In the aftermath of these speeches, a Senate subcommittee which McCarthy sat on, known as the Tidings Committee, would investigate these claims and find them false. But that wasn't all for him, because at the beginning of his second term in 1953, McCarthy was made chairman of the Senate Committee on Government Operations and the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. He used this power to investigate the U.S. State Department and more famously the U.S. Army. Under the pretext of anti-communism investigations, he used subpoena power to bring hundreds of people in front of his committee. He would accuse them of communism for things like 15 words in a book they had wrote 20 years ago. These methods of his destroyed civil servants' careers and lives. Using these techniques, he led one Army lawyer to say this:
"Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?"
One of the most publicized victims of McCarthyism was Air Force Reserve Lieutenant Milo Radulovich, who was accused of being a security risk and stripped of his commission because his father and sister were accused of being communists themselves. This story is where we would see the first of Edward R Murrow's anti-McCarthyism reporting, covering it on his program See It Now. Before his reports on Radulovich and McCarthy, before See It Now, Murrow was a wartime correspondent during World War II, reporting from London during the Blitz, signing off his broadcast with the British saying at the time, "Good luck and good night." After the war, he became CBS News' Director of Education, and then CBS's flagship anchor on See It Now. Murrow and his colleagues at See It Now started working in 1953 on a report on Senator Joseph McCarthy. They would record him anytime he would give a speech or sit on a committee, archiving hundreds of hours of video. They compared the speeches, wrote scripts, and to protect the network, the whole staff had to sign a loyalty oath, proving they were loyal American citizens. Then they were ready to take on one of the most powerful men in Washington. With Murrow leading the charge, they went to air.
Because a report on Senator McCarthy is by definition controversial, we want to say exactly what we mean to say. And I request your permission to read from script whatever remarks Murrow and Friendly may make. If the Senator feels that we have done violence to his words or pictures, and desires, so to speak, to answer himself, an opportunity will be afforded him on this program. Our working thesis tonight is this quotation: "If this fight against communism is made a fight between America's two great political parties, the American people know that one of these parties will be destroyed, and the Republic cannot endure very long as a one-party system." We applaud that statement, and we think Senator McCarthy ought to. He said it 17 months ago in Milwaukee.
The American people realize that this cannot be made a fight between America's two great political parties.
Murrow, using nothing but McCarthy's speeches, would reveal the weaknesses in the senator's claims and rhetoric by splicing together two contradictory statements.
senator has been consistent. Often operating as a one-man committee, he has traveled far, interviewed many, terrorized some, accused civilian and military leaders of the past administration of a great conspiracy.
My cup and my heart is so full I can't talk to you.
But in Philadelphia, on Washington's birthday, 1954, his heart was so full he could talk. He reviewed some of the general's record testimony and proved he hadn't abused him.
Serious than being a traitor to a country.
The actions of the junior senator from Wisconsin have caused alarm and dismay amongst our allies abroad and given considerable comfort to our enemies. And whose fault is that? Not really his. He didn't create this situation of fear, he merely exploited it, and rather successfully. Cassius was right. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Good night, and good luck.